Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good morning to all. I'm your math teachers from IYS schools. This is our fourth online class of mathematics for class 7. Before starting our class, first I would like to share some instructions. Don't raise hand during lecture. Ask questions at the end of the lecture. Use hand-free if you are using mobile, and headphone for computer use. Feed your ID and password properly with your name and class. Take care of time for attending the class. Home tasks should be done in your fair copy of the subject. If there is any disconnectivity during the lecture, try to join again within 5 to 10 minutes. One thing which I want to add here is this: please turn off your video. Now we are going to take the start of our lesson number 4, chapter number 5, fraction. The objective of today's lesson are brackets, combined operation, BODMAS, and complex fraction. Student, can you hear me? If you are listening, kindly send a message in a chat box. So our very first objective is brackets. What is brackets? Okay, thank you. Now what is bracket? Brackets are used when two or more numbers are treated as a whole. It means that when two numbers are treated as a whole, so this is called brackets. Brackets are of various types. Let us discuss about the types of brackets. How many types of brackets are there? There are four types of brackets. Number one, vinculum. Number two, parenthesis. Number three, braces. And number four, large bracket. So these are the four types of brackets. Okay, look at bracket number one, vinculum. Vinculum is represented by a dash. We call it as a bar. Parenthesis is represented by a small bracket. These are known as small bracket. Braces represented as a curly bracket or a flower bracket. And the last one is large bracket. Large bracket is represented with these large brackets. We can call it as a square brackets. So these are the four types of brackets: vinculum, parenthesis, braces, and large brackets. So what is brackets? Brackets are used when two or more numbers are to be treated as a whole. Let's check one example for your more clarification. Okay, first of all, here removal of bracket, that how we can remove a bracket step by step. So how we can remove a bracket? A bracket preceded by the sign plus indicates that the part of the expression enclosed is to be added. Therefore, the brackets may be removed without any change. Simple, it means that when we have a positive sign outside the bracket, there will be no change, there will be no any change inside the bracket. The answer will remain same. When when we have a positive sign means this plus. When we have a positive sign outside the bracket, outside of any bracket, there is no change inside the bracket. How? Let's check this example. Example number 1. 8 plus small bracket 5 plus 3. This is small bracket. And the small bracket, according to the sequence, a small bracket will uh, be removed as a second step. Number one is vinculum, number two is parenthesis, number three is curly bracket, or we can say that flower bracket, and the number four is large brackets. So how we will remove a bracket in this step? When we remove a bracket, there will be no change. Why there is no change? Because there is a positive sign outside the bracket. Can you see these brackets? There is a positive sign outside the bracket. So there is no change inside the bracket. This is our example number one. Now, example number two. The question is 8 minus bracket minus 5 plus 3. Here you can see that here you can see that we have a negative sign outside the bracket. In the previous example, we have positive sign, so that's why there will be no change inside the bracket. But here, in this example, we have a negative sign outside the bracket. So when we have a negative sign outside the bracket, the operations and the sign inside the bracket will be inverse. How it will be inverse? Simple. Minus, minus. When it's multiply each other, it becomes plus. Minus multiply by plus, it becomes minus. In step number two, minus minus become plus. Simple inverse. Minus plus becomes minus. So this is our case number two. When we have a negative sign outside the bracket, the operations or the sign inside the bracket will be inverse. Now plus 8 plus 5, it becomes 13, and minus 3, it becomes 10. So we have discussed two cases. Case number one, when we have a positive sign outside the bracket, and when we have a negative sign outside a bracket. So when we have positive sign outside the bracket, there will be no change. But when we have a negative sign, the sign will be inverse. If there will be minus, it will be converted into plus. And if there will be plus, it will be converted into minus. So these are the rules and the steps of brackets. Now the next objective is combined operation, that is order of BODMAS. First of all, what is BODMAS? BODMAS means, or BODMAS stands for bracket of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. This is the order of BODMAS. Simply it means that when we have all the operators in each question, so what is the sequence and what is the order? The order is that first we have to remove bracket. In step number one, first we have to remove bracket. In step number two, we will solve division. In step number 3, we will solve multiplication. In step number 4, addition. And in step number 5, subtraction. So this is the order and the sequence of BODMAS rule, that how we can solve a question if there is a BODMAS in the question. So now let's see this example for your more clarification. You can see that this is the question according to BODMAS. How? How we can identify? Simple, there is a small bracket inside, outside the fractions. We have two terms here. One is this one and one is this one. There are different type of fractions. mixed fractions, all are mixed fractions. So when we have a question in the form of mixed fraction, what we have to do? The very first step, which I have told and which I have discussed in the previous class, that first we have to convert the mixed fraction into common fraction. And how we can convert it into common fraction? Simple. Denominator multiply with whole number and then add with numerators. So 5 multiplied by 3 becomes 15 and add 2, it's become 17 over 5. Denominator always remains same. There will be no change in the denominator. Now the next 12 multiplied by 4 plus 1, it becomes 49. Simple. 12 multiplied by 4 becomes 48 and then add 1. It becomes 49 over 12. Off. What I have told you in the previous class, off represents or off denoted as a multiplication. So in the next step, we convert this off into multiplication. Or if you want to do it in this step, so you can do it. Now, 7 multiplied by 1, 7 plus 5, 12 over 7. So, all the fractions are converted into common fractions. Okay, what is the sign between these two fractions? There is a sign of division. So put the sign of division. Now solve this fraction. 21 multiplied by 5 and then add 2. 21 multiplied by 5 becomes 105 and add 2 becomes 107 over 21 minus 28 multiplied by 3 and add 19 becomes 103 over 28. So all the fractions are converted into common fraction. Now we will follow BODMAS rule. And what is BODMAS rule? According to BODMAS rule, first we have to solve bracket. It's mean the values inside the bracket. Small bracket, small bracket. So well, first we have to solve the values inside the bracket and inside the bracket. Okay. After removal of bracket, what is the next step? Brackets of division. In next step, we have to solve division. So look at step number 2. This is our step number 2. 17 over 5 divided by 49 over 12. This off is converted into multiply divided by, okay, here we have different denominators. So what we have discussed in 5.1, in addition or subtraction, when we have different denominators, we have to take LCM. And the LCM of 21 and 28 is 84. Now come at this side. If cancellation is possible, we will simplify the fraction. But if cancellation is not possible, just leave it. But here in this situation, cancellation is possible. What is the cross value of 7? The cross value of 7 is 49 and the cross value of 12 is 12. So its mean simplification is possible in this step. So we can easily simplify it. 12, the cross value of 12 is 12. 12 multiplied by 1 and 12 multiplied by 1 becomes 1. 7 multiplied by 1 and 7 becomes 49. So it is easily cancel out. Now in the next step, what is left? 17 over 5 divided by 7 multiplied by 1, 7. 1 multiplied by 1 becomes 1. Okay, one more thing which I have discussed in the previous lecture is that if there is a 1 in the denominator, so it is not necessary that you have to mention the value of 1 in the denominator. But for your understanding, for your clarification, if you want to write 1 as a denominator, so you can write it. Okay, now here we have to take LCM 84. Now 428 minus 309 becomes 119. All of you know about the steps of LCM. We have done many times in the previous lecture that how we have to take LCM. So 428 minus 309 becomes 119 over 84. Okay. Now the next step, division. After solving all the brackets, the next step is solve division, because according to BODMAS rule, after bracket we have to solve division. So what is the rule of division? Division is an inverse operation of multiplication. So we have to take the inverse of division. What is inverse? Multiply. So the inverse of 7 is 1 over 7. Now in this situation, cancellation is not possible. 7 and 17, no cancellation. 5 and 1, cancellation is not possible. So just leave it. We have to multiply it simply. Numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator. Look at this situation. Just leave it here. First, we have to solve the value which is inside the bracket. 17 multiplied by 17 becomes 17. And 5 multiplied by 7 becomes 35. Now come here. This is the sign of division. Step by step we are solving operators. Now this division will be converted into multiplication, and the inverse of 119 over 84 is 84 over 119. Now we have four values: 17, 35, 84 and 119. Look at this. Is cancellation is possible? Look at the cross way. 17, the cross value of 17 is 119 and the cross value of 35 is 84. So cancellation is simply possible. How? Let's check. 17 ones are 17 and 17 sevens are 119. Now look at this one. 7 fives are 35 and 7 twelves become 84. What is left in the numerator? 1 multiplied by 12 and in denominator 5 multiplied by 7. So 1 multiplied by 2 becomes 12 and 5 multiplied by 7 becomes 35. Okay, what I have told you in the previous class, when denominator is greater than numerator, then there is no need to change it into whole number. So this is your answer. Okay. Now our next objective is complex fraction. What is complex fraction? Look at this definition. A fraction whose numerator and denominator or both are themselves fraction is called complex fraction. What does it mean? Simply it means when we have a value of fraction in the numerator and when we have a value of fraction as a denominator, so that type of fractions are called complex fractions. What is complex fraction? A fraction whose numerator and denominator or both are themselves fraction. It means that both are themselves fraction. We have a value of fraction in the numerator and in the denominator is called complex fraction. Okay, now the example of complex fraction. Okay, look at this example. We have a question 4 over 5 divided by 8. You can see that we have a value of fraction in the numerator. This is the value of fraction. And in the denominator, we have a value 8. Okay, now this bar represents as a sign of division, or we can say it upon 4 over 5 upon 8. So upon means the sign of division. Okay, now 4 over 5, this upon is converted into the sign of division over 8. Okay, now the next step 4 over 5. Take the inverse of division. What is the inverse of division? Multiplication. And the inverse of 8 is 1 over 8. Okay. Is there cancellation is possible? Yes, it is easily possible. 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8. What is left in the numerator? 1 multiplied by 1, and in the denominator 5 multiplied by 2. So 1 multiplied by 1 becomes 1, and 5 multiplied by 2 becomes 10. Again, the denominator is greater than numerator, so this is our answer. Okay, now I would like to share the home task. Okay, if you are using mobile phone, it's better to save a time and take a screenshot of your home task. Otherwise, you can note down it very properly. Home task should be done in your fair copy, and the remaining parts of the exercise you have done in the practice copy or in the rough copy. So what is your home task? Exercise 5.2, question number 3, simplify. You have to do part number 1 and part number 5. Kindly students take a screenshot, otherwise note down in your rough copy. Question number 4, simplify part 2, part 5 and part 6. You have to done all these parts in your fair copy and the remaining parts of the exercise in your rough copy or in your practice copy. Now, let's take a start. Exercise 5.2, question number 3, part 4. You can see this question. This question is from exercise 5.2. Question number 3, part 4. The question related to BODMAS rule. The questions related to BODMAS rule, how we can identify, because there are brackets. Small brackets are present outside the fraction. So this is a question of combined operation, that is BODMAS rule. Okay. According to BODMAS rule, first we have what we have to do. First we have to solve the brackets. This bracket and this bracket. Okay. Step number 1. The question is already in the form of common fraction. So there is no need to change the question. When we have to change the question? When question is in the form of mixed fraction. Already we have a question in the form of common. So let's take a start. Look at this first bracket. We have three denominators in this question, 2, 3 and 4. This is unlike fraction. How it is unlike fraction? Because all the denominators are different. So when we have different denominators, what we have to do? We have to take the LCM of all three denominators. Look at this. This is the LCM of 2, 3 and 4. What is the LCM? The LCM is 12. The LCM is 12. First rewrite the question, then take LCM. The LCM of first bracket is 12. Now multiply the values as a numerator, and if you want to add it as a denominator, so no problem. So 2 multiplied by 6 becomes 12. 3 multiplied by 4 becomes 12. And 4 multiplied by 3 becomes 12. So the denominator is same. Okay. Now look at this one bracket. All the denominators are different. Again, we have to take LCM. Why? Because in this question, we have two brackets. So we have to take LCM individually. Now, take the LCM of 4, 5 and 6. How you have to take the LCM? Start it from least common multiple. Okay. So the LCM of 4, 5, 6 is 60. Now make the denominator same. How to make the denominator same? 4 multiplied by 15 become 60. 5 multiplied by 12 become 60. And 6 multiplied by 10 becomes 60. So the value of denominator becomes same. You have to check it very properly. And first make the denominator same. Now 6 multiplied by 1, 6. Minus 2 multiplied by 4, 8. Plus 3 multiplied by 3, 9. Look at this. 15, 1, 15. 2, 12, 24. 1, 10, 10. Now, according to BODMAS rule, first we have to solve addition and then subtraction. So plus 6 minus 8 becomes minus 2 and plus 9. Here minus plus become minus, 9 minus 2 becomes 7. Now here all the operations are addition, so it is very simple. Add all the three values all together. 15, 24 and 10 becomes 49. Now what is the sign between these fractions? The sign between these fractions is division. So what we have to do? Convert it into multiplication, and then cancellation is possible. So do cancellation. Okay, cancellation is possible. 7 ones are 7 sevens are 49. 12 ones are and 12 fives are 60. So 5 1 becomes 5 and 7 1 becomes 7. So this is our answer. Denominator is greater than numerator. No need to do long division method. Okay, now example number 2 question number 4 part 3. This question is from the exercise book exercise, and it is related to complex fraction. We have a mixed number in the numerator and mixed number in the denominator. First we have to convert this upon into the sign of division. Now the question is in the form of mixed fraction. First we have to convert it into common fraction, and then simply convert the division sign into multiplication. Take the inverse of 13 over 8, it's become 8 over 13. Now cancellation is not possible. Simply multiply it. 5 8 becomes 40 and 3 13 becomes 39. Now it's time to share home task again. Kindly take a screenshot if you have not taken. Otherwise, note down the home task, please. Note down the home task, student, please. Okay, now it's time for questioning. If you have any query related to the topic,